Yes, people, welcome to another episode of the Top 4 Football Podcast. We did 1 week with 4 of us. We might have done a couple other weeks, but we're back to 3. I say that actually because Jack, you weren't here last week, so we didn't even do 4 last week. I'm getting mixed up. Nath Boy not with us this week, but that's all right. That's the strength. We've got strength in numbers because when we lose a player, we can still keep formation and still make it competitive.
As a
And
podcast,
do you
we
know
got
what?
depth.
Yes, forever
I feel
playing
like
a high
there's
line.
exactly, and I feel like there's a bit of a theme there this week because we weren't going to touch on it, but I feel like we have to just briefly mention the game that we saw last night, Monday Night Football, because that is one of the best, one of the most exciting games of football and dramatic games of football I've watched in a while. I think because I probably say that every time I see a dramatic game, but still, quick takeaways, boys. What do we think of the game last night?
Yeah, it was a madness to be fair, wasn't it? It was I don't know whether it was a good game or it was just an ode or proof of how much of an impact VAR has in the modern game. What was it like? 4 disallowed goals in the first half, 2 potential reds. Yeah, it was a bit chaotic. I mean, it was really good to watch, to be fair. I was playing darts actually, and they added on while it was there, so I was watching what I could. Um, and yeah, it must be one of the most like top 10 maddest Premier League games, right? Surely. Like I can't remember in the last couple of seasons there being a game like it. I'm thinking of things like Battle of the Bridge, United Arsenal, back in the noughties. Was it Newcastle and Liverpool in the 90s? These are games that long stay in the memory. So yeah, it was just one of those. Like every time I looked at the screen, there was like disallowed goal or potential red. I think VAR did all right. I think they missed a couple of opportunities, but like I don't know if you agree, but I think the first Romero incident should have been a red. I'm not being biased because I just think that if Casemiro did any of those things, he'd be sent straight off. So I don't know about the consistency, but the doggy, when he went in double-footed off the ground, I think that should have been a red personally. But yeah, madness, absolute madness of a game.
Absolutely mental. The first half was just crazy. 12 minutes added on. What were you going to say, Rob?
No. I was going to say, cheers, Jack, because I had in my notes somehow make it about Manchester United. So well done. That's good because I don't have to do that now. Yeah, mental. I mean, gosh, for the viewership, I should really pretend I watched the entire game, but I do have to. It's been a long time since I've checked my phone and seen more than one person messaging me saying, "Are you watching this game right now?" It's a pretty Hollywood moment. It's a pretty adrenaline-inducing message you get, and it was very enjoyable. Absolute carnage. I think the Sky Sports description of the game was just like chaos and mayhem. That was the whole description of the game. Normally it's player X gets a late winner or something like that, but they couldn't really describe it in a better way than chaos, which is quite good fun. It's a bit of a shame that Tottenham aren't undefeated anymore because they were everyone's second team this season, really, which is saying quite a lot when everyone's second team before a ball got kicked was Luton, and now I think everyone's jumped on the Spurs bandwagon, haven't they? But yeah, just an absolute mad game. I think everyone expected something a bit out of the blue to happen with Poch going back and to Spurs, didn't they? And it certainly didn't disappoint.
Yeah, mad game. We're not going to spend too much time on it because I mean, it's a sort of game where we could probably talk the whole podcast about it. But yeah, just a mental game. But I suppose one of the main talking points was Ange's sort of approach to going down to 9 men. Having a high line, Eric Dyer, Højbjerg, I think Emerson Morale playing as like a back 3. Mental. Obviously ended up being 4-1 and unapologetic at the end of the game for doing that. And I think you're right, Rob. That's why they're going to be Tottenham's. They're going to be Tottenham's. And at the end of the day, I was reading it earlier. Chelsea were putting on the pressure. I know you didn't watch the game, Rob, so you're just going to nod. But after Tottenham's first goal, Chelsea were the better team for the next like 15, 20 minutes, and they were creating the pressure, and that caused the red cards and like the decisions to be made. But at the same time, it took them like what over an hour to take the lead. So huge credit to Spurs. And now I'm fully backing the resurrection of Eric Dyer. Like out of the blue, I don't know how many minutes he's played this year, but not many. And he's come on and he's had a stormer. And if that goal had counted, oh my god,
It's a great finish. Fair play to him.
unbelievable! It's very similar to the Lewis Dunk goal that was
Mm.
disallowed. Do you know what I mean? Big old defender, whipped in, scored with like the side foot volley from the edge. Very interesting. How do we see both those team seasons going now for the rest of the season?
Well, it's really hard to say with Spurs because we've all said in the pod it all depends on injuries, and now they potentially have two injuries, which it's, okay, I hate saying that. It's such a cop out. It's such a pundit trying to fill up time by saying it depends if they get injuries. I think Spurs finishing top four is a humongous result for them. So let's say top four Spurs, shall we? And Chelsea maybe. Again, Chelsea probably a top six would be a good result, wouldn't it? The two most unpredictable teams in the league right now, probably fair to say that. I don't know who I would say is unpredictable in that manner. So I would say they take top four and top six respectively right now.
I think I would agree. I think if there was a turning point in Spurs' season, this might have come a bit sooner than Ange would have wanted. And I think if there is going to be a turning point, it's going to be now. Be interested to see how long Van der Ven's out for because he pulled up properly. Madison, whether he's going to be available or not on the weekend, don't know. Might have taken him off as a precaution. Richarlison's having surgery, so Brennan Johnson's going to have to come into play now and kind of do his thing. Richarlison's come out and said like it's an injury, I need to get sorted. So again, I think if it's a turning point, it's going to be now. With Doggy's banned for a game, Romero's banned for 3. So yeah, Dyer. Maybe Davinson Sanchez might come out of the woodwork. Who knows? Because I think Ben Davis is still a little bit. He's got a minor injury. Is he still there?
Was that a joke? I thought that was a joke. I thought you were.
That is a joke. It's a good joke as well.
Nah, it's not a joke. You're being serious.
I am being serious.
Oh no, Jack. I thought who was it you said earlier in the season? Who was the player that you said?
Nicholas
Sorry,
Pepe.
I apologize for not keeping tabs on Davinson Sanchez.
Well, it's just because it's only because I don't want to get this wrong now, but was he not playing centre back when he beat United?
Huh?
Oh, he's at Galatasaray.
Was he not playing centre back for Galatasaray against Man United?
Oh, right. Yeah, he's definitely in Turkey.
So I mean, maybe you should be keeping tabs on him.
Yeah, maybe I should. Yeah, I'll take that one on the chin. That's fine.
That's fine. We'll move on.
But I go back to my point. I think if there's a turning point in Spurs season, it's going to be now. They got Wolves on the weekend away, which I think if there's a game to go into, it's not a bad one considering their current situation. So, but yeah, I agree with Chelsea. I think they might kick on a little bit, but the curse of the striker continues, doesn't it? Like I know he scored a hat-trick, but that bloke Nicholas Jackson is not great.
Yeah, he's just making himself a fantastic pointless answer for when they do Premier League hat tricks one day, isn't
he? Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, actually. So yeah, I agree with Rob. I think, I don't think it's far off there.
Yeah, I agree.
Go on, JP.
No, you go.
I get a bit of stick for when I'm a bit dramatic about football, but I find it hard. The reasons I watch football, not the reason I watch football, the reason I love football, are people like Ange at the minute, if I'm perfectly honest. And we talked about him be still going all out attack with 9 men, which is just a wonderful, wonderful thing, playing that high line. And he gave another wonderful speech after the game. I don't know if you guys caught it.
Yeah, I saw it.
Because obviously the giving referees shit is the biggest thing in football at the minute. But what did he say? He said, I would never talk to a referee about the rules of the game," which is as if he was trying to use as little words as possible to make the biggest point, like he's bloody, I don't know, Ernest Hemingway or something. I like him that much. And you compare that to Arteta this week, um, going off against and I've spoken about Arteta on this podcast before. I don't like him at all as a bloke. I think he's a bit rotten, and I've heard things about him. I think he's an absolute difference between having a bit of power and being an absolute fucking narcissist, and I think he's on the
Allegedly.
wrong side of it. No, no, no. I'll commit libel, mate. I'll do it. I don't care. I think he's anyway. But Ange absolutely did himself an absolute service yesterday by the way he spoke after the game about the refereeing decisions. And what's most important to me is you have a lot of people from other countries when they come to this. Bless you. When they come
Thank
to
you.
this league, I'm offended if they don't treat the league with the utmost respect, you know? And I feel like Arteta hasn't treated the league with the utmost respect. I think when Guardiola came in and he plays his strongest side against a team in the fifth division in the FA Cup, I'm like, that's fine. He's treating it with respect. That's why he's been very accepted in the country in football terms. And Ange has proven himself again and again and again to have the utmost respect for football in this country. And even though they lost their first for the first time in the league this season when they're everyone's second team, he still proved himself to be an absolutely bloody wonderful man. So he's really making me happy to be a football fan in this country at the minute. And I think he's an absolute role model, and I like it very much. I don't know what you boys think about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he seems like a good lad.
good lad. That's what I was summing up there. He's a good
Yeah,
lad.
he seems like a good lad. Seems like someone you want to have a beer with whilst having a barbie. Nah, he seems top, and yeah, like you said, he introduced the 0-7-1 formation yesterday. First time we've seen that in the Premiership. Massive run for games. We've talked loads about this now, but massive run of games now for Spurs. Wolves got to win that. Then they got City. They got City. Then they got Aston Villa. Then they got West Ham. Huge games there. The Villa game is almost like who's going to be the pretender for the year. Do you know what I mean? Winner of that could go on and get top four. Loser of that is then chasing points again. Super interesting. But the one thing you will say about Spurs is I want to watch every game of theirs now. Like every game, no matter what. And I've been thinking that all season since watching them play against Brentford. I know me and Jack, we watched that one together. Since that, I'm like, I want to watch Spurs play all the time because they're cooking. Hopefully Madison's all right because he's so good for them. But yeah, we talked a little bit about that. Arsenal now. You were alluding to Rob. Will's sort of just sort of coming off a little bit. Lost in the Champions League. Lost to Newcastle, and Arteta is going a little bit crazy. Do you want to sort of expand on your thoughts around that?
Well, me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I said it in a previous podcast, but I just heard little moments of exceptional arrogance from him when I was somewhat associated with the football club, which is a contract violation. Me saying that. So, no, I would hear great stories about Wenger and his being wonderful to the tea ladies. Is such a fucking cliche in football, but it's true. And the same thing of Emery. Even the fortnight he was manager, people had stories about him being absolutely wonderful. And then when it came to Arteta, there seemed to be an air of arrogance about him walking up the corridor. And I think that's so clear in the way he speaks. And he had such a goddamn rant about the decisions made in the Newcastle Arsenal game. All right, and he might not have been wrong, but the fact is, the biggest decision that could have gone the other way that game was Kai Havertz being fucking knee high doing that slide tackle. And I think if you want to make a cohesive, oh god,
he's so angry, he's struggling to speak.
Oh god, No, it just makes it seem like I'm just struggling to say big words. Um, if you want to make an intelligent argument, you have to present all the facts. So if you're saying he did this, he did that, but you miss out the fact where your team did something terrible, you just look a fool. You don't not only do you look a fool, you look like a 10-year-old child, you know? Like you just lose your argument. So he makes all this thing about the refereeing decisions, but only lists things that go against him, which is just it's so petty and it undermines everything and it invalidates his own argument. You know, even if he just said, "Look, maybe Havertz should have got in more trouble," then I think twice the amount of people would listen to his argument. Genuinely, twice the amount of people. But him hiding the fact that Havertz is you know looking like the Silver Surfer or something when he was flying in there, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's isn't it not embarrassing? Compare this to our man Ange. Like, do you think Ange would really be doing that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Do you think that's pressure though? Do you think that's what it is? Do you think he knows now that they went for the title last year? This year they've got to go for it again. Do you think that's what it is?
No, not at all. I think it's in line with the way he's been a lot of the time. He's he spent he spent less time in that box he's meant to be in than any other manager. He's always walking down the touchline. He's always getting in the faces of referees. He's always whinging after games and omitting facts that present the whole picture. And I'm bloody sick of it. And I won't give it any more time. I said at the start of the season, I think he's on borrowed time, and I thought this season where he would start to fall apart a bit. I haven't seen that quite the way I thought it would be because they played very well. But I think it's a matter of time before perhaps a bit of Arteta arrogance starts to make him fall apart a bit. Is my honest opinion.
I agree. I agree completely. But there's nothing I like more than seeing Arsenal fail. So we will see how that develops. So a few weeks ago, Rob, you did a nice little Turkish football sort of segment. You did loads of research. We were all very, very impressed, and we all sort of picked a league that we were going to work on. And since then, the other three of us have done bugger all. So just because I want you to stay on the podcast, and I don't want you sort of moving on, I was like, right, I'm going to step up this week. And then I was going to do my research on my league, and I got to be honest, quite difficult because I've got the Saudi Pro League. Now that's a league that's all over Twitter. Everyone knows loads of things have been going on, and I can't just pull up an ex-West Brom striker like you can and say, "Oh, he's playing in the Turkish league now." So what I've done is now it's going to be with the four of us, but I've done a little sort of five question quiz on the Saudi Pro League. I'm also a bit like, should we be covering the Pro League that much? So we'll give it a little chat, and we'll see how it sort of develops. So I've got sort of five questions, which sort of leads into a little bit of the research I've done this week, and then maybe next week we can do a bit more in depth. I know Yoki. I can't even remember who you said was going to be your league, Yoki.
I was going to do the Welsh JD Premier.
Yeah. So see, I'm not surprised you haven't bothered.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and obviously, James, if you have any if you're struggling with these questions, you need gaps filled in for content, just drop me a message and I'll give you the knowledge you're missing for the questions.
Okay. So 1-0 Yoki already. So I'll be quizmaster, and I'll trust you guys to sort of
I'm going to be so bad at this.
I'll tell you what, actually, what we'll do is maybe we'll do like a quick fire, like whoever can answer sort of first. And obviously, the listeners at home, you
Can I
can
get my excuse in already that I'm really under the weather at the moment?
Oh,
Hence
that's great content. That's great content.
Davison Sanchez howler earlier. My mind just isn't working. Yeah, I've been at work all day, been in meetings.
That's so funny, though. It is so funny. He's like, I'm not keeping tabs on him, and he's like, he just plays centre back for Galatasaray against United.
I've been in the pub since 1:30, mate. So that's my
not an excuse. I'm jealous.
Okay, so start off with which striker in the which high profile striker in the last few weeks said that if they had to choose, they would rather move to the MLS than Saudi Arabia?
Ooh.
I can't leave pauses for the podcast, so I feel like I should just keep giving hints until one of you gets it.
High
You all
profile.
sing background music until one of us says something.
Lewandowski.
Do, no. So that Jack, that's your guess. So Rob, now, you've got one guess.
High profile striker.
Do,
I
do,
don't know if he counts as high
do,
profile,
do,
but someone who would be in that debate, I would
do.
say, is a Mr. Mikel Antonio.
Oh
Ooh.
no! I can't believe that I said elite European striker and you said him. Um,
What's wrong with that?
That's a good point, actually.
No, it
Oh,
wasn't.
sorry. Yeah, what, a European Cup winner? Excuse
It
me?
was.
What are you saying?
It was actually. Don't shout like that. You're gonna ruin the sound. That
I,
was
I got too close to the mic. I'm sorry.
Napoli striker Victor
Oh,
Osimhen. He said that he would rather join the MLS than go to Saudi Arabia. Okay, sort of staying with it. Can you name? And obviously this is a bit gossipy, so this is a little bit difficult. Can you name the player in the last 48 hours, the Premier League midfielder who apparently is now one of the main targets for the Saudi Pro League?
Oh, God.
I'll
Oh,
give you a
yeah.
clue.
I know this.
I'll give you a clue.
I know the answer already. So,
Okay, go on then. What's your answer?
Kevin De Bruyne.
So that was more than a few that was more than a couple of days ago.
Oh, so it's wrong.
Well, it is wrong because that was a couple of weeks ago. When that news came out.
Well.
So, Jack,
Hello,
it's
egg on
not
my
Kevin De
face.
Bruyne. Can you name the midfielder, the elite midfielder in the Premier League, who's been apparently is the next target for Saudi Arabia?
Can I ask if he plays for Manchester United?
You can't ask. You got to guess.
I'm going to go with Bruno.
Yeah, elite midfielder, mate.
It's Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah,
So
I
that is
saw something on
1-0
my
to
Twitter.
Jack.
I did see
I
a
do
little
feel a little,
something.
I do feel a little bit harsh for that one because Rob wasn't completely off, but I reckon you get it back for the next one. Okay, so
Nah,
as we all know, I know I'm meant to be doing a little bit of knowledge on it, but so we're going for the quiz for the listeners at home. Jordan Henderson's and Steven Gerrard's Al Ettifaq lost to Al Riyadh a couple of weeks ago, and it was publicized at how many people were actually at the game. So for this one, I will accept a guess each. Yes. So we will go for a guess each, and this is whoever closest. So, in a matter of fairness, so that someone who goes first, then the person who goes second doesn't just go one under or one over. Can you both quickly write it down?
yeah, I've got it written down. I've got it written down.
Yeah.
Um,
Or Jack, type it in on your phone. If you've got your
yeah.
phone, type it in your phone. Lift your phone up, those, and face your phone away so you can't type it after.
Hold on.
This is obviously great content for the listeners. So the people listening on Spotify, the boys are currently typing in or writing down their answers.
I'm always writing notes in this podcast, man.
I've got a number down.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Answers reveal yourself. So we'll go for so Jack's gone for 653 and Rob has gone for 964. And I can tell you that the answer was in fact, and one person is only 40-ish off. The answer is 696. So Jack takes that one as well. So now he's got a little bit of a gap.
I think I saw the reason why I saw that. Well, the reason why I think I remember I knew it was in the 600s because someone compared it to like a really
The Oval game.
Was it the Oval game?
Because didn't the Oval have 2,000 and 3,000 people go for their game the other week, and they were like,
the Oval had 3,400 the other day, but they said in the top 5 divisions, the only team had less is Boreham Wood. With the stats, so that's how I base my knowledge on. But well done, Jacko.
Thank you.
Okay, so this week, we'll move quickly on. One of the things I was looking at most interested is, yes, people keep talking about who's moved, and all that. But what I really like to see, and what I like more, is to see managers. Like I like to see who's gone there. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, who's been put on the scrappy. So, can you boys tell me who is the manager of the Saudi Professional League side, Al Fatir, and that is Fateh. Quickest answer wins.
Fateh Alpha tier.
Okay, and I
Uh,
will start reeling off teams they managed.
Oh, nice.
And to make it interesting, there's a maximum 3 points available for this one. But every time I say there's a club, you lose a point. So I can only say two clubs.
Rob's gonna get it. I don't know.
So is there any guesses without losing the club? Because
I'm
one,
just writing down names of people who seem like they'd be in Saudi right now, but it seems like it's a bit presumptuous. But I don't know. Yeah.
okay, so I'm going to say one club that this guy managed was West Ham.
Oh, okay, I'll go for it. Is it Avram Grant?
No,
Oh, he was the first name I
Avram
wrote
Grant.
down
so
of people who seem like they'll be in Saudi.
Rob's had his chance to equalize, and he's actually now could go. He could go behind. Jack, do you have a guess? Okay, so the next club I'll give you is that he used to also manage Watford.
Watford. Whoa.
Former Watford and West Ham manager who is now in charge of Al Fatir, who are doing pretty well. They're not managed. They're not owned by the public fund, so um, they don't have as much money as the other clubs.
I've got nothing coming to my mind, to be honest with you.
Oh, boys, I'm disappointed because I thought one of you would have got this. It is Slavan Bilic.
Well, I couldn't go again, could I?
Nope,
Okay, good.
you can't.
Yeah.
I had it written down there. Can you see it?
Oh, well, that's good. You can keep that. Um, I I am a bit. It's a shame really because my next question's been ruined a little bit. Because Nate's not here, which is a little bit of a clue. Couldn't you tell me the other Croatian manager, one of the other Croatian managers in the Saudi league, who is the manager of Al Shabab, and he used to play in midfield for Liverpool. Croatian
No.
Liverpool player. This part of the podcast has a little bit ruined because I was hoping Nath was going to know it, and if he didn't know it, I could have called him out for not being a proper Liverpool fan. Um,
Liverpool midfielder.
so for the listeners at home, a former Liverpool player, Croatian, who now manages Al Shabab.
God, well, it could be horribly wrong. 'Cause I don't know if he's Croatian or he's even that old. It's not that Markovic guy, is it?
No, no. Good guess, though. Good guess. Completely different era,
Yeah, but
but
I've
good
seen
guess.
didn't see him play for ages. I just thought
Not
maybe
even
no
sure if
Croatian.
not even sure if he's Croatian. But
Just
apart
know
from
he's
that, it's
got
a
a
good
Vic
guess.
in his name.
Any guesses, Jack?
Nah,
Oh dear. Well, there's no
I
point in the
know.
quiz. That
All
was
knowledge in the mud.
Igor Biscan.
Oh,
Igor Biscan.
Igor Biscan's great because he scores one of the goal. He scores one of the goals in the goal film.
Yeah.
Does
In
he?
yeah, in,
I
at
should
the-
have I should have led with that. I should have led with that.
yeah. Oh,
Um,
I'd have got it then.
okay, well we'll leave it there because that's five. So I think that's a pretty comprehensive win for Jack there. And yeah, we look forward
Was it
to Jack
two or 3-1, wasn't it?
something like that. I don't even know if Rob got a one, did he?
I was playing a high line all game. It just caught me out.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So to finish, just before we wrap up, Rob, didn't you want to sort of give us a little information on an upcoming trip you've got?
Yeah, I'm going to Krakow this weekend to watch some football. Well, not to watch some football, but I will watch some football when I'm there. Cracovia versus Slask Rocklav, something like that. Don't know too much about them. I'm hoping I'll see former Liverpool midfielder Markovic there, managing his national side, perhaps. We'll see. It's actually top. They're the top. Vorklav and Cracovia. They're 15th out of an 18-team league, so it could be a bit of a rowdy game. It's quite an interesting concept, Krakow, because bare Brits go over there, so you might even imagine that must be quite a British away day for football. And Vorklav, oh god, WROCLAW, but the W's are V's. There's a lad called Cameron Borthwick Jackson. Anyone familiar?
He used to play for Spurs.
Did he?
I think so.
Certainly used to play for Manchester United. 10 games in the 15-16 season under Louis van Gaal.
Jack knew that.
And now he's playing over there.
Yeah, of course he did.
So that's the only Brit in those squads. So I'll be cheering him, apart from I'll be in the Krakow end. But it will be a grand day out. Maybe some flares and some words in Polish. I wouldn't repeat in English, but I'm looking forward to watching the game. My first ever overseas game. Can't wait, boys.
It's gonna be great. Maybe you can put some stories on the Instagram, you know?
Good dude.
Definitely.
Good dude.
If you're listening, make sure you check the stories and the TikToks. Rob will be updating that the whole week, spending his whole time on his phone.
Potentially.
And, what we want in this next episode, I want a review of the halftime food. I want to know what they're serving in Polish football. And a price range of the beers, what it was like.
Yeah.
I
want a concourse review, stadium review, mainly the beer though.
How many scraps you saw?
Yep. Sorry, I just got this text, James. James wants me to see if the birds are fit at the football. Yep, we'll do that as well.
It's a football podcast. Come on.
And throwing me under the bus live on the podcast. That is extra stuff. I'll have that, boys. I'll have that ready for you. Look forward to that in 3 to 5 working months.